Life will inevitably shatter your plans. You will face pain, and people you once relied on can turn into total strangers overnight. When this shift occurs, the default human response is to resist it. We try to patch the fractures by clinging to the past, holding on to the wrong people simply because they are familiar. Many people look for external company to provide a sense of internal happiness. This creates a psychological weakness. If you need a specific person to feel content, you've surrendered your own resilience. The damage of a crisis compounds when we refuse to accept that our world has permanently changed. We often distract ourselves by looking at others. Every second spent comparing your private struggles to someone else's public highlight reel is a second spent wasting your own life. This leads to overthinking. You obsess over futile questions and worst-case scenarios, twisting the situation until the mental image of the problem becomes heavier than the reality. You do not drown by falling into the water. You drown by choosing to stay there. In these moments, you have to realize that nobody is going to watch out for you as effectively as you can. Escaping this trap requires you to stop waiting for a rescue and start taking absolute responsibility for your own survival. True healing begins when you learn to embrace being alone, even when that isolation feels deeply uncomfortable at first. Choosing solitude is structurally superior to remaining in the company of people who drain your energy or exploit your kindness. Letting go requires a daily practice of intentional severance. You have to decide over and over again to stop reaching for what is already gone. Returning to an ex or a toxic situation because you feel lonely is like taking a shower and putting dirty underwear back on. Progress depends on your capacity to forgive. As long as you carry resentment, you remain tethered to the very thing that caused you pain. Solitude provides the surgical environment needed to cut away dead attachments and rebuild your life from the ground up. In that quiet, you can begin to see negative emotions as tools. Feelings like fear act as biological indicators of what you actually value. This illustrates how fear functions. Warning rings show you care. Handled correctly, that energy consolidates into a directional arrow pointing toward the challenge. Pain works through a similar loop. The friction highlights a lesson you must absorb before moving forward. Your ego is the primary obstacle blocking these lessons. To learn quickly, you have to be willing to drop the ego and look at the facts of your situation. Both pain and fear provide a roadmap. If you ignore them, you repeat your mistakes. If you lean into them, you find the exit. You reach maturity when you stop making excuses and start making physical changes to your reality. Clarity comes from action, not from sitting in deep thought. You can't think your way into a new life. This feedback loop shows the mechanics of progress. Each action you take generates real-world data, which then creates clarity. With each revolution, your understanding of your situation expands. This process reveals that happiness is the learned ability to deal with problems as they arise. We stop chasing a life without friction, and instead focus on building the capacity to dominate that friction. The version of you that emerges from these hardships has been reshaped by the pressure of the experience. Humans have the capacity to live multiple distinct lives within a single biological lifetime. You can choose to turn the page and start a different story whenever you decide the current one is finished. Painful difficulties provide the specific environment where resilience and personal miracles actually develop. Use these hard-won lessons to reinvent yourself. You have survived every bad day so far. Use that strength to become the hero of your own life. Hardship prepares you for the specific challenges of your future, providing the forge required to turn an ordinary life into one of profound meaning.